So, 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 so saith the wise Alondo. Do, 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 do.
Hi there, welcome back to Mages and Murderdads. I'm Cameron,
And I'm Danny.
and this is episode 5.
Wow.
We're doing it.
We
Look
are.
at us go. Look at us go. With our fan base. Thank you, everyone who watches all of these. If you're up to the 5th one, you might as well watch all 500 of them. All that we have them pre-planned. They're ready to go. Right here up at the top, just want to say, if you like this show, right now or in the future, if you listen to this and then like the show, hitting the like button really helps us. Sharing it with people that you think might also like it on Facebook and Twitter or whatever social media network. That's really helpful. We don't advertise this show at all except for word of mouth, and that's actually been really, really cool so far. So please do that. If you want other people to see it on YouTube, hit the little like button, because that's what makes that happen.
Yeah.
I say that here at the top because some people don't make it more than 5 minutes in, so I might as well waste your 30 seconds right now. But Danny, what did we do in this episode?
We fought a lot. I think it was a conflict-ridden episode.
The two of us?
Oh, not you and I.
Emotionally.
I mean, I'm saying we just we set out on a grand adventure in what's called the main plot line of this game.
What's called the main plot line. So we're finally kind of getting to the main plot line of the game.
Sure.
Like, we're in it now. Mm-hmm. I did a lot less side quest content.
Yeah, but I think that being said, really strap in, folks. Really get your safety belts wherever, depending on the model of what, computer chair you're in. Mm-hmm. That might be different places, because we go to some dark places in this episode. Because a lot of it's underground. That's, a disclaimer.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right. So, if you're not familiar with the show, generally what we like to do is open up with a broad question. In the last episode, Danny explained how alignment works. We had alignment chat for 15 minutes.
Damn.
It's intensive, to say the least. And in this episode, here's our broad question. Here's my question for you, Danny. Can you have civilization with a bunch of druids?
That's a good question.
It's a great one. Thank you.
I feel like the answer, and we might just move on to the episode, no.
Yeah, I feel like Baldur's Gate answers this question with a radical no. Mm-hmm. I would say I saw 10 druids over the course of this episode. That's not true. Maybe 5 druids. But that's been a lot of druids for this play session. And it seemed like every single one of them hates the very idea of civilization.
That is correct. I think that druids, more or less, their ethos is one of not just social Darwinism, but just regular old Darwinism, right? Mm-hmm. And living it alone in the woods. And they're perfectly fine with their own little druidic, enclaves. Like, they can have their own little civilization, but God forbid someone stack a stone on top of another stone across the forest. They will be up in your grill, and they will beat you with a stick and call upon the beasts of nature to smite you.
Yeah, I was wandering around, and we'll talk about this later, but I was just being attacked by bears left and right. Mm-hmm. And I can only assume that was a druid's fault.
Look, I think at this point the Druids have made it very clear about what their purposes are, what their motivations are, and virtually all instances of anything bad happening, in the same way that, anytime something mystical happens in the Baldur's Gate universe, you can say a wizard did it. Mm-hmm. Anytime just something bad happens to you personally, like you stub your toe or like trip on a root or a badger goes after you, it's a Druid's fault.
A druid did it.
A druid did it.
All right, so we ended last episode. Going to Baragost?
Yeah.
Kind of finishing that up?
Yeah.
So what did you do right after that?
Well, we told our listeners, hey,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna smite a Tazok, or that's what I'm gonna try to do. And we had all the listeners, we wanted to solicit some yays or nays. So my first priority was to get to a Tazok. So I just kind of took off in the northeast corner of that map, just kind of rambling around in the forest, looking for anyone named Tazok. I was just hitting tab occasionally to make sure he wasn't around.
Yeah.
A bunch of bandits confronted me, and I think I had a dialogue option where I could have like pretended that I wanted to join their little mercenary band, and I totally just murdered them all.
Oh my word! You
Yeah.
didn't even give them the time of day.
No, not at all. It was
So
a
it seems
very
like-
short conversation.
Seems like this is the place where our two stories diverge.
Wow, right here at the beginning, huh?
Right here. We're like 5 minutes into this episode. Our stories have already diverged because I said, "Let's be bros." I'm ready to go hang out because look, we've already established this. Balthazar, which is Danny's character, is single-handedly rolling through the Baldur's Gate universe, destroying everything.
Sure.
I die in every fight. At least one time. Like, it's a bad time in my party of 6.
Wow.
This is going to be a long road for me. Like, I'm already thinking about, like, the next game, and maybe if Ticklevar somehow in between this game and the next game dual classes into, like, fighter. Like,
Just
I'm
for
thinking
some
along-
extra hit points.
Just for anything. Maybe some extra spells would be nice. I think fighters probably have more spells than Ticklevar does at this point. So I'm really, really thinking about that. But so yeah, so I said, yes, I want to be your bro.
And which group was this? Because I know there are a lot of mercenary groups we're going to run into, and I feel like there's probably 3 or 4 different names I've heard so far. So was this the Chill?
I don't think
Was it the Black Talons?
this guy was labeled. His name was Tevin.
Okay.
I don't think he wasn't labeled as any kind of group. He just
Okay.
took me there. He was on the same map as a bunch of druids who were building a Stonehenge. This is the first of many druids, by the way. But they were building a Stonehenge kind of thing. And apparently some bandits had roamed through earlier that day or earlier that week or something. And it made the druid... they killed a bunch of druids, and it made the remaining druid really angry. So he just bum rushed me, and, I have 6 party members. We took him down, and then his buddy showed up and was like, hey, he was really emotionally disturbed. He saw all his friends get killed. Sorry about that. And then he wandered off, and one of the dialogue options was, well, why did you let him attack me then? And I just made the choice to not find out.
Yeah, I mean, they might have had personal issues from before.
They could have, I don't know. But yeah, so he was on that map, and then he took me to the bandit camp. So how did you get to the bandit camp?
I just kind of rolled around the forest, and eventually I found it. Like, I probably went through 3 or 4 areas. It's a little bit like the southwest of the world. There's not a lot going on up there, like just some forests, and eventually you kind of just get to the bandit camp. But yeah, I was running around, and I killed everything in several like foresty areas that were unnamed, and eventually I got to a place called Bandit Camp.
So what level is Balthazar at this point?
At the end of this session, or at this point in the game we're talking about?
At this point in the game we're talking about.
He would have been level 6.
What level is he at the end of everything?
At the end of this campaign, he's level 7.
Okay. Well, so what happened when you rolled up into the camp? Because I feel like this is another point of divergence. But so you roll in, and you're killing people, right?
Yeah, so I roll in, and I meet there's some hobgoblin guards on the periphery. Then there's kind of an inner ring of archers. And the archers, actually, they're some of the tougher enemies I've faced thus far because they're actually capable of hitting Balthazar. Like, they actually do damage to him, which has been not necessarily the case with all the other archers I've met, because I've got these Cat's Grace boots on, which increase your armor class by 4 against missiles.
Oh, my word.
So archers have had a tough time with me before now, and these guys are actually able to, like, plink away at me a little bit. They're not doing a lot of damage. At this point, I think I've got 106 HP.
Oh, my God.
So it's not that big of a deal.
I think I have, like, 28. I'm not even kidding.
So, yeah, then there's an inner ring of archers, and I had to kind of be careful. I got a little, like, the first time I went into this thing, I, like, just ran to the middle, and everything aggroed me, and then I died. But like I kind of had to work my way around a little bit carefully. And then I think there's either a fighter or a paladin or a cleric like in the middle guarding a tent.
Yeah.
And so then I killed him also.
Ooh, there's a big thunderstorm outside. I think this happened last time we recorded. So if you hear a big thunderstorm, noble viewer, it's not just the video game. It's real life.
Or it's completely for atmospherics.
I put it in afterward. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think I saw him too. He's the leader of the Black Talons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you kill the magical hobgoblin in like the top left?
So there are a few other features in the bandit camp area before the tent. There's a cave with a bunch of gnolls in it that are asking, "Hey, can we get out?" And I said no, and then I killed them all.
There was like 16 of them in there. You just killed them all?
Yeah.
I feel like you need to record video of some of this so I can just show the world what it looks like. Because I have a hard time in the theater of the mind seeing what happens when Balthazar just rolls through 65 enemies and kills them all.
What it looks like is a bunch of gnolls like swinging and not hitting him, and him hitting roughly 50% of the time and killing things in 2 hits. Like they've just kind of run that. So it's just kind of a circle of gnolls swinging their pikes and nothing really happening. But no, I don't remember if I saw a magical hobgoblin or not.
He was right to the north. I don't know. I was just told. Bandits in the camp told me that there was a magical hobgoblin, and I went and tried to talk to him, and he called me spineless. So.
Oh, because right now you are not hostile with any of these creatures.
Exactly. So that's
you're just
why
walking
I was asking.
through a camp like you're in Baragost or wherever.
Yeah, you can just talk to everybody and wander around. I did fight the gnolls on accident, and I just reloaded my game because that didn't seem like it was worth any other time it would take.
There was nothing in there.
Yeah, that's why I assumed. So I just wandered around and talked to a bunch of different people, and I ended up with a weird issue happening where I would say half of my spells were gone across the whole party. So I had maybe one healing spell and a couple direct damage spells and a bunch of charm person spells through my main character. And I went outside of a tent, and I rested, and then I woke up, and Kivan was like, "Hey, I'm out." So
because you didn't kill that ogre.
So no, it's not the ogre that he cares about. He cares about Tazok. We're literally 15 feet from Tazok's tent. More importantly, we were just recruited into these bandits by Tazok. So when you show up into this camp, you're a recruit, and then Tazok wanders up, and he says...
you saw Tazok?
Yes, so I saw Tazok. So you fight him, and when you get him down to like 50% health, he says, "Oh, you can be part of you're not a prisoner at all. You can be part of our gang." And then he wanders off.
Oh, and you can't chase after him?
Well, I didn't want to chase after him because he was like two-shotting all of my people. It was actually really difficult to give him 50% health. I think what the game implied is that he was going to Nashkel, to follow up. But I wasn't super sure. So yeah, so he's already seen Tazok. He knows what's up, and so he's just like, "I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore." Even though technically his quest should be fulfilled, or he should at least be checking. So I had to go into this next big fight, the one that is in the tent. I had to go into that with like 7/8 health and nothing else good, like none of my spells.
And you couldn't rest outside the tent because this area was as if it was a town to you.
Well, like no, so if I rested at all, Kivan would leave.
Oh.
And there's no way I could do it with 5 people. So I had to just keep my quick save from right before I rested and then go into it. And I probably did this fight conservatively 25 times.
Damn.
Yeah.
So yeah, the fight itself, there are 4 beings in this tent. It's Tazok's tent. Tazok is not in the tent, unfortunately. There's a fighter, Raymond, a mage named Vikint, something like that.
Sure.
A gnoll and a hobgoblin. And I think I tried the fight twice. The first time, I just tried to fight Raymond and get him down because he was actually hitting me. And then, of course, the mage cast some mean stuff on me. So I reloaded, and then I killed the mage first, and then I killed everybody else.
Oh, God, it was so hard. So I was actually, I suffered because of an early fluke success. So the first or second time I go in to do the fight, I immediately cast Charm Person, because that's what I'm trying to do, is like get one of these two humans out of the fight, fighting against their enemy. That seems like a good and useful tactic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do it, and I hit the mage, and I'm able to charm the mage, and that like really swings the fight. So I get like two of them down or something, and eventually one of my party's members dies, and I was like, all right, this is how I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So that's 5 or 6 attempts. I try to do the same thing. I'm never able to charm that guy again.
He's just making his saving throws.
Yes, and it looks literally impossible. So eventually the way I do it is Raymond, the fighter, you can charm him super easily. That goes super, super fast. And so I was charming him, switching to the bow, which he has frost arrows, sending him to like the top part of the map, the little tent thing, and then having him shoot the mage and then focusing the mage down.
Okay.
And so it just took forever. Like, it just took so many attempts to make that work out fine. So I do it. I talk to the prisoner. They've got a little prisoner guy in there.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to him. His name is Ender Sai. And what he reveals some, like, crucial plot information, which is that this bandit camp, some people think it's the Zentarim, who are, like, just bad dudes. Maybe we'll do an episode where we talk at the beginning about, like, who are these major players and what do they mean? But
yeah,
Zentarim
Forgotten Realms, like geopolitics or something.
Yeah, we'll do that. So he says, no, that's not true. It's really the Iron Throne. And this is another thing that we can probably go into in a future episode, but the Iron Throne are basically a trade consortium, like a black market trade consortium.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, yeah, we know that. And I was like, heck yeah. So he says, look in this chest. You will see that all the documents that prove this to be true, or whatever.
Yeah.
I click on the chest, and I'm immediately killed by a lightning bolt.
I remember that chest. Yeah, it hit me.
Yep. So I did not quick save in between finishing the fight.
Oh, no. You made a
clicking
terrible
on
mistake.
this chest. And so then I had to go do the fight another 10 times. After having succeeded. Yeah, it was a real bummer. And
I mean, at this
literally
point,
threw my hands up in the air and like cried to heaven.
Is Ticklevar, is he, slinging spells? Does he feel stronger now? I know the last time you were a little frustrated with him because he wasn't able to cast very many spells or a wide variety.
It's really the wide variety issue. Because he can cast 6 spells a day, which is pretty good. Well, so now, after this encounter is when I leveled up. And now he can cast some level 2 spells 3 times a day, and that's pretty good.
Okay.
So yeah, as we get along a little bit further...
and what level is this? Is this 3 or 4?
4, I want to say.
Okay.
Something like that. But yeah, so he can cast 3 level 2 spells per day, but I only have 1 spell. I've got like this... it's like a lance of flame that shoots out and does 3d6 damage, and it ticks twice. So it does it 2 times. It's pretty good. I ended up killing some dudes later on with it. But yeah, I can see how the sorcerer gets more powerful, but up to a certain point, it was a real bummer.
Yeah.
And Minsk just gets eaten alive in every encounter. I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, he's kind of a weird character because they want you to play him like a frontline fighter, but he's still got ranger stats, right? Other than having a high strength.
And he's got full plate mail on, too. Pick some of that up. But, yeah, so after that, so I do that, and then I had a dream.
Yeah.
What did your dream? I'm assuming we've got different dreams now, but maybe not. Maybe we have the same one because your alignment is the same.
Yeah, I think that we both are in the same spot. This was a dream where I descended into the earth and I saw a statue of myself.
Yeah.
And basically I had some joker talking to me like, you think you're hot shit. You ain't really that great. And then the statue something came out of nowhere and hit the statue, and it started to crack the statue, and I really hurt, and it wasn't fun.
Mm-hmm. And you fell backward.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you got slow poison. That's what I got.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually really handy given what we're about to do.
Holy Lord. I wonder if they planned that. I wonder if that's designed that way. Because the next part that we're going to talk about is maybe the worst part of any video game ever made.
Do you think that may, that your feelings about it maybe are influenced by how bad you are at this game?
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
that's
yeah.
right. That's right. You back down. No, I don't think so. Just because I wasn't necessarily dying a whole lot through this section. Section that's about to come up. But it was just a slog to get through.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. So what we're talking about right now is the Cloakwood, which is not a zone. It is this menagerie of zones, and all we know is that the next space, like the next place we need to go to, these letters reference this mine hidden in the Cloakwood. So we're just kind of wandering around in these zones trying to find the next zone to eventually find this mine.
Yep. Yep. And so we do. I think it's 6 zones, I want to say. 6
Total,
different individual maps. And so after I did the first one, I basically did not do another one. I was able to talk to someone near the beginning of each of the maps that told me where to go. And so I was able to kind of like serpentine my way through them fairly quickly. Like, I think I did it the most golden path way that you can, and it still took forever.
Yeah, so I fully explored the Cloakwood for at least 4 of the 6 zones. But yeah, I understand what you mean, because there are there's some NPC towards the beginning that'll say, oh, if you go east from here, and if you just like bolt that way, you can usually like find your way to the next zone and then get another breadcrumb and get to the mine as quickly as you can. You didn't really miss much. There were a few things here, but not that much.
Yeah, that was my memory of playing the game years back, is that it was better to get to the goal here than to actually go all the way through. But so we were talking about poison before. Cloakwood is full of spiders.
Oh, there's one area in particular is just Spider Town, USA.
And even worse, there are traps that shoot out like spider stuff.
Yeah, like web. They basically just cast web in a very large area.
And you get held.
And the worst part isn't the combat effect. The worst part is you cannot quick save or rest until that trap fades away, which feels like 2 minutes.
It's so long. That needs to be rebalanced. I don't know how we made it through the enhanced edition, that not being fixed in any way. But yeah, so basically if you're trapped in that and you're being attacked, you're just going to die. Like, maybe not you, just because you can live through it. But I really had to game these, as in like moving forward a little bit and triggering the trap, and then not having any enemies in the area, and then waiting for it to go away, and then moving up. Like, I really had to treat it like an arcade game.
Yeah, I would say I did die, I think, 2 times in this zone, and it was the Eder caps. Because the Eder caps can trigger, it's not just web where you're immobilized. They will hold, like, basically have a hold person effect. And your armor class gets tanked, and you can't move and you can't do anything, and you just kind of sit there and get hit, and then the poison starts accruing, which that's a whole other thing. But I'd say poison killed me more than anything else in this area.
Yeah, it was awful. But there are some druids here, right?
Yeah, they're druids. So I think Kunzel and I may have like encountered these zones in a different order. So there's like one area that's just Spider Town, USA, and there's a kid in Spider Town, USA who says, "Oh, well, you know, my brother or my relative, you know, he took this sword named Spider's Bane, and he went out and he wanted to kill some spiders, I guess.
They wanted to be famous.
Yeah, he wanted to be a real American hero. And of course he is just dead in the middle of this like spider web in the middle of the fucking zone.
I told that kid that I would help him, and then I just
Promptly got
wandered
the
away.
hell out.
Yeah.
Spider's Bane is awesome. It is a +2 greatsword with freedom of movement. So I will never be held. I will never be immobilized again.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to ask that. So is that what... that's the kind of weapon that Balthazar uses?
Yeah, that is the weapon Balthazar's using. And it's going to be difficult to switch out of that because never getting any kind of movement effect on you is just so good when the only thing I do is walk up to people and hit them. If I can't do the walking up, you can't hit them.
Hard to hit them, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's +2, right? Is that
It's
what you said?
+2. That's
a
exactly
pretty good
right.
weapon, yeah.
Yeah, my Thaco right now at the end of the session was like 8.
Oof. That's good.
Yeah.
So these druids...
Yeah.
Well, actually, I guess I encountered the hunters, and the hunters were like, hey, I'm a noble from Baldur's Gate. I like coming into the woods and killing as many animals as I want, and these druids don't like it. So help me defend myself against them, because they're coming to roll up on me.
Yeah, they didn't describe... I think, but when they describe you, they don't say druids. They say, like, barbarians or, like, these wild men. Something like that, right?
Yeah, he calls them wild men. Mm-hmm. And so the druids rolled up, and they were like, hey, these dudes killed our friend, and they're huge jerks, and which I could confirm, like, having talked to them.
Sure.
I could confirm they were huge jerks. And so I just turned on the other guys and just straight up killed them.
Oh, that's interesting. You didn't try to make a peace? You didn't try to any diplomacy there? Because I think the third option in the dialogue tree, you could have been like, there has to be a way we can make an understanding, guys.
I don't know if I had a third option.
Interesting.
My charisma might not be high enough. Is that a thing? Does Balthazar have high charisma?
He's got an 11.
No, well, maybe not. Maybe I just didn't think about it. I think I felt pretty strongly that those dudes were jerks.
Oh, I killed those dudes too. I got a +1 bastard sword from the hunter guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm holding on to those. I'm gonna, because Barbarian, the way the class works is you're limited to +2 on any of those skills, on any of the proficiencies, with the exception of dual wielding.
Oh my god.
So at this point, I've got 2 points in great swords and 2 points in dual wielding. And I'll go ahead and get a third point in dual wielding, and then I'll maybe put some points in like the exotic weapons like katanas or bastard swords.
You can... hold on. You can dual wield great swords?
You can't dual wield great swords.
Okay.
You can dual wield bastard swords and katanas.
Okay. That's pretty good. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I got a +1 katana at some point during this too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the first druids, or I guess the second druids for me, and then a little bit north of there, I met Lascal, who was this dude who just showed up. He's like, are you with the Iron Throne? I'm the protector of these woods. And I was like, nope. And he said, well, they're over there.
And then you promptly went over there.
Yep, and I went over there, and lo and behold, there were other people there.
And I think that was the mine entrance, right? That's how you found it?
Yep, that's how I found the mine entrance, which was also another very difficult fight.
Yeah, so I think there are 5 folks there. I think 2 of them were mages. This one took 2 tries for me too, to kill these guys.
Just because you got all maged up?
Yeah, I got all maged up. They were casting that Scorcher spell, where it sounds like maybe you have access to it, where it would like affix a fiery beam to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what I have. It's called like Agonizar's Scorcher, maybe? Something like that? Yep.
Yeah.
Odaluki's Icy Sphere? Resilient Fist?
Sure. Lots of proper nouns followed by an adjective followed by a noun.
Yep. But they actually didn't do that to me. That's really interesting. I wonder if they scale based on level, like what they can do. That would be interesting to know, because they didn't cast anything like that on me. It was mostly horror. I'm having everyone cast horror on me. Every mage I've encountered has confused me, confused my whole party, and cast horror on us, and then Dimension Door.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they want to win.
Yeah, they're playing the long game.
They may have not be casting that on me, because when I'm berserk, I'm pretty sure I'm immune to fear.
Do they know that?
Or like confusion. I don't know, but That'd be interesting. Like it would be interesting to know if the AI was sophisticated enough to be like, okay, barbarian goes berserk. I try to cast fear. It doesn't work. I'm not going to try to cast fear anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, none of my people were immune to fear. They got feared all the time. All kinds of different things happening to them. A real bummer. Just a nightmare of a time.
Was this harder than the tent fight?
I don't know if it certainly was not harder, but maybe more frustrating, because one dude has boots on that allow him to run super fast.
Ah, yes, cheetah paw.
So I charm personed him immediately and had him turn around and just start wailing on the wizard. And that was pretty cool. I do like using charm person to like change these fights, and maybe some of my difficulty comes from the way I want to play these fights out, play this like kind of control-y wizard man. Especially because that's kind of hard to do as a sorcerer, I guess. Like, because you don't have one of each of these controlling spells.
Yeah, you don't have as wide of a toolbox.
Yeah. And I actually don't think Dinah here can learn some of them because of her, whatever, her specialty. I think she can't learn some of those kind of controlling spells. But
because she's like a destruction type.
I actually don't know. I don't know what. Yeah, like evocation, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so eventually got through that. Caught a dude like trying to get high in a closet.
Really?
Did you talk to that guy? Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, do you want to come in here and taste some of the sweet black lotus? And he was like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to be here. And then we just one-shotted him.
So it's really interesting. There's probably 4 or 5 guards you're going to meet in the next section of the game that when you talk to them, it's obvious. There's 2 really interesting things about it. They'll have something funny to say. Like, so when you actually go into the mines, the first person you encounter is, "Hey, you son of a bitch! I'm gonna turn you guys." It's like, he's
Gonna kick your butthole
gonna
apart.
really do you a big favor, and I'm being sarcastic about it. Something like that.
So I kicked him in the head till he was dead.
Yeah, and I just one-shotted him, and I looked, and he was only 65 experience. All the other guards are like 120, and it made me think, and I like kept track as I was going, and all the ones that die due to comedic effect, like charging into your party, are actually lower level, so that they die easier, so there's more comedic effect.
Do you like that?
Sure, yeah. I'm not straight Gygaxian. I don't need this to be a simulation. Right?
You don't need it to be very clear about how that guard goes home at night and how many people live in his household and like
what his
kind of
income
items.
is.
Yeah.
Where does he do his grocery shopping? Nah, I think I'm okay with it.
Okay. No Village of Hamlet for you.
Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. Like so at this point you're going through these mines, and from a story perspective, what's happening is the iron from the Nashkel mines has stopped, and it's being poisoned, right? It's 2 things.
Exactly.
There are bandits up and down the Sword Coast, where if there is good iron, it's being taken by the bandits.
There's number 2.
And this is like the real kicker, all of this is being orchestrated by some other group who's operating their own mine to then compete or to sell into the like really stretched economy of iron on the Sword Coast.
Yeah, to establish a monopoly.
Yeah. And so really this is all just like a very complicated trade dispute.
It's the biggest Rube Goldberg like business venture.
Yeah.
Like you know the cliche, I think it was like South Park or something. Do this, question mark, profit. Right,
it's the underpants gnomes.
That's exactly right.
Model. Yeah,
that's exactly right. This is like that, but with 17 steps. It's like, okay, hire out several demi-human mercenary bands, coordinate with them, have them all do these various tasks over like hundreds of miles. Where like think about how much of your overhead is going just to messengers to send these scrolls to like coordinate your efforts.
Well, based on what we've learned so far, none of these messages get where they're going.
That's true. We've intercepted 100% of all communication efforts within the Iron Throne.
Yeah. So,
which is strange that they even know about us, though, right?
Well, you're just a band of mercenaries. And I actually don't think they, at least up to the Mullahay part, they don't know about you. Because Tazok is going to the south, I believe this is what was happening, to go and check up on Mullahay.
I wonder what would have happened if I would have attempted to join, and then when I fought Tazok, I would have just tried to kill him. Like, how would the game have dealt with that?
I don't think it allows you to, because he wanders off and you don't have control.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it like kind of, does that kind of thing to you.
I understand. Yeah, but I mean, even though they don't know about you until Nashkel, when you're at the mine entrance and after you kill the 5 folks guarding the mine entrance, they have notes that say, hey, be here because these people are coming imminently. Like, you need to defend the mine against these specific mercenaries. And you're right, they do just think you're a mercenary band. But they know about your movements fairly well for an organization that has had all of their messengers murdered by Balthazar.
Some real Donald Rumsfeld shit going on in the Forgotten Realms.
Known knowns, unknown knowns, known unknowns, unknown unknowns.
And gnome gnomes.
And gnome gnomes. Oh, man, look at you.
Oh, look at me go. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the first level is basically just a mine.
Sure, with the accompanied miners and slaves.
Mm-hmm. Just moaning and hollering.
My favorite interaction was I went towards 2, and one went up to me and was like, hey, Anderson over there was bad-mouthing the Black Talons. And then he was like, oh, wait, you're not a Black Talon. And he's like, and it really is an illustration of, like, how desperate they're making these miners just start snitching on each other, right? Like, that's all they have left is the ability to snitch on another slave.
Yeah. It's a pretty, and then I talked to another Anderson, the guy he was talking about, and Anderson gave me some tips on how to live in the mine.
Oh my, that's the most metal darkest shit. So he says there's 2 things you need to know. First is the only way I can keep going is I just pretend these rocks are my captor's skull.
Yeah,
that's 1. 2. All the sparks that I make with my pickaxe are the only light that I create.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty bleak.
Yeah.
So I just scrambled on by that guy. Went down into the mine.
Thanks, Anderson.
Yeah,
well, you met the guy at the valve door, right?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't meet the guy at the valve door. So you want to talk about that a little bit? I
sure,
do know what you're talking about. But
in the northern section of the mines, there is this door, and there's a miner there, and he says, hey, if you can find the key to this device, I know how to work it, and we can flood the mines. The key is kept by the guy that runs everything. That's what he says. So and I have a few other conversations with a few other miners, and it seems like there is a choice kind of after this section. You could flood the mine, thereby, I guess, basically robbing Baldur's Gate of its only source of non-tainted iron. Mm-hmm. And also ending this horrible practice of, having slaves here, right?
Yep.
Or it seems like you can just not do that and let the mine open and then question mark. Who retains control of the mine? What happens after that? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of pays off. So I didn't learn about it there. Mm-hmm. I learned about it further down. So the second layer is basically just generic dungeon level 1.
Yeah, more or less. It's kind of the barracks of these mercenary groups, of these faceless guards.
Yeah, in one room there's 5 guards. In one room there's a wizard and 2 hobgoblins. In one room there's an ogre mage.
That's some really great. This is, as D&D as it is, you do love it, right?
I don't. This is the least D&D. This is the thing I hate about the game, which is look, it's a dungeon crawl. It's about making sure you lose access to some resources, the workaday adventure. I don't like any of that.
And there is kind of a battle of attrition thing going on because the chances of someone interrupting your rest is increasing exponentially down every level.
Yeah.
And at this level, there's a decent chance that 16 archers will spawn in a tightly clustered group.
Yeah,
every time you rest. And it's like it's significant. It's like in the 40% chance range.
Are you
that they do this.
still resting for 16 days?
No, because I have a good reputation. I've got those 2 cure moderate wounds.
yes.
So now it's like 2 days.
Okay. That's actually still much better, though.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of a generic level. One further down is a little bit smaller, but it has a room with a wizard and like 8 archers, and I would say like 5 melee dudes.
And 2 traps in the hallway immediately preceding those characters.
Yeah, and this one is the one that like almost made me rage quit for the day. Like going through that one like hours worth of the same battle over and over, that didn't make me want to like quit the game. But this little thing did. And so did you, I'm assuming that Balthazar didn't see all the hidden doors in this level.
I think I saw several hidden doors.
Oh, okay. So Balthazar has the ability to see hidden doors.
I do, in fact, have the ability to see hidden doors. Yeah, but I know specifically that fight, and I did have to like trigger both of the traps, walk back, quick save, rest, load until 20 archers didn't appear, quick save again, and then actually do the fight. Like that's how I had to roll.
That was part of my strategy. I tried to do that the first time. It didn't work out. So I went around through the hidden door, which takes you down a hidden hallway. I met a slave who told me that if I gave him 100 gold, he would lead everybody out of here. So I was like, here's 100 gold, go to it. I met this dude named Yezlik who was like, hey, my family owned this mine. And this dude tortured me until he found it. So he's like the reason that they knew about it and the reason they knew that the mine was flooded originally. So like he's kind of the root of all these problems, and I think he was recruitable. I told him to get the hell out of here. I wasn't interested in him. But yeah, there's also a hidden hallway from that first hidden hallway that allows you to go into the big room from the side.
Yep.
And so I basically just like baited them out 2 by 2 until I got the wizard to come out, and he like took around the corner, and I just killed him with all my party members. And then I was able to do it, but it took a very, very long time.
Yeah. No, these the difficulty, if you can't tell from this podcast, the difficulty is definitely ramping up here. And I think Kunzelman and I are both playing on the core rules difficulty setting. So not even like the higher difficulties, just kind of like the original difficulty. Well, I guess, I don't know. Was there a lower difficulty setting before the enhanced edition?
I don't think there were difficulty settings. Or I think there was like maybe easy, medium, hard if there were difficulty settings.
Interesting.
But this has like 6 the enhanced edition has like 6 different versions, and I think that core is actually a little bit harder than medium used to be.
That's right. There's easy, medium, core, and then a few harder ones. Yeah.
So super
getting a little tough.
Hell dimension. But yeah, it's very difficult now, so I went through that one, and this is the final level where this dude named Davorn.
With like way too many vowels here.
Yeah, Gaevo something.
Yeah.
And this is where if I wanted to rage quit the game before, this is where I wanted to take my keyboard and smash it to pieces. Because Khalid is the worst character in this game.
Well, what do you mean by that? I've solved that problem a long time ago.
No, I'm more than aware. So this fight with Davorn, he's a wizard. It's a pretty cool little fight in how it's set up, in that you can kind of teleport around from different rooms and kind of shoot you from those rooms. You really have to split the party if you have a party, and kind of hope that he runs out of spells and manage it in like little groups of 2 and 3. It's pretty cool. But you have to get rid of these like battle horrors or something. They're like summoned enemies. And you have to get rid of them first. So I lured them one by one up into this little guard room and then killed them. And that was actually, I think that was harder than actually fighting Davorn himself.
I had a really bizarre experience with those battle horrors. So I go into the room the first time. I walk far enough in, and you have to, like, in order to even get to this room, you've got to detect the secret wall. So I detect the secret wall, walk a few steps. There he is. Battle horrors get summoned. I think he, like, nicks me with a fireball or a lightning bolt.
Yeah, he shoots both of those things.
Yeah. And I retreat, and I'm at half health, and I'm berserk, and I fight both of the battle horrors. And I think I kill one, and then the other one gets me just before I'm about to kill it. So I reload, and it auto-saved right after dialogue initiated. It was really weird. But anyway, I reload and get there, and I fight him, but there were no battle horrors.
Huh.
So I don't know what happened. It may be that I had quick saved after. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how it was, but I attempted this fight several times and there were no battle horrors.
Well, lucky you.
Yeah.
Because anyway, several times while fighting them, they would get Khalid down to 5 health or so, because he's kind of tanking for me sometimes. He's like an off tank, and he would fear and run away.
Morale failure.
Yeah, he's my only character that does this. He has a hyper annoying sound thing when he does it. And it literally caused me to lose fights multiple times. And I just hate him. I hate him so much. I understand that it's part of the character and that's kind of fun, but
You're not down.
I know, it's not fun. It's 0% fun, in fact. So as soon as I can dump him and Jaheira, I'm getting rid of them. I feel so strongly about it.
Do you have replacements in your head lined up?
Well, I know that you said before that Viconia is now available. She's running around somewhere, so probably her to replace Jaheira and then someone else. I don't know.
Literally anyone.
Literally anyone. Maybe that cleric that was in the
Carnival?
Yeah, in the carnival. Maybe
Double
so.
cleric's great.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that it'd be easy to do. So
Yeah, but this was a tough fight, and this character, he's got Dimension Door, which he casts, and he'll appear in one of 3 rooms. Which isn't how Dimension Door usually works, I don't think. It's usually, I don't know. Yeah, you would generally, as a spellcaster, you would select where you appear, but he's kind of going to these preset areas. He's got protection from normal missiles. He's got lightning bolt. He's got fireball. Monster summoning 2 and 3. So he's summoning some real stuff, ogres, etc.
Yeah, how do you know that? Did you see him do it?
I did in fact see at least one monster summoning spell cast.
Yeah, so I do think that some of these are scaling to level, because I did not see any monster summoning from him.
Interesting.
None at all. And I don't think I saw Dire Charm either.
Yeah. There was one...
no, I did, actually, because I think Minsk got charmed, and I counter-charmed him back.
Dire Charm, is that where you just charm for good? Or it's just a very high-level charm?
I think it's a high-level charm.
Yeah. In some video games, Dire Charm has the connotation of, it's a perma-charm. But, I'm thinking back to my EverQuest days there, but yeah. And of course, Magic Missile, because what wouldn't be complete without Magic Missile?
Yeah, I don't think we got Magic Missiled. I got Fireballed and lived through it. I got Lightning Bolted, through a wall one time. That was a real bummer. That was mostly it.
Yeah, and throughout the fight, he's got the mirror image cast, so there's a bunch of them that's all, translucent, and he's got this purple aura around him. Which maybe that's the protection from normal missiles. I don't know.
Yeah, that is.
But yeah, tough fight, and immediately
like a purple cylinder.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And immediately after you defeat him, you get the next chapter little videos. So that was actually 2 chapters. I think you would have one chapter play after the bandit camp, the bandit tent level, and you would have another immediately after defeating Deveron.
Yep. And so did that, and then I picked up the key to flood the mine, and I'm going to go flood the mine.
Yeah, I think I'll do that too. Just nobody should have to have this job.
It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just think it's a good idea to flood it. It was flooded before. It's a cursed mine. There's a bunch of dead dwarves in here.
There's an ogre mage in a torture pit in the bottom.
Yeah, where he's just torturing people to death.
And we don't know whether he's hired by somebody or if he's just he was there already and they're like, hey, you want to torture some slaves? You can stay here.
He's an industrious guy.
Yeah, he had a +1 katana though.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that's where I got that from.
Yeah, so which is big. That's doing the damage of a great sword in only one hand. So
how are you identifying things? You just know?
No, I put them in my inventory and I like go to the hedge keep.
Whoa.
Yeah, I like leave them in the inventory until I go to town and I identify them there.
I just like that you go to that guy.
Yeah,
He's like your bro.
Well, this time he actually saved the apprentice. The apprentice is alive this playthrough.
It's pretty good. But yeah, we did a lot of stuff.
We did that was a ton of stuff. That was 2 chapters of the game.
It was a big chunk of content. I'm going to go back and do some of the... I'm going to at least get Viconia for the next thing. So we'll get some party updates. Right here, it's on screen right now. For like the next little bit, there will be our character sheets, which
That's
were
right.
asked for.
That was requested, and here they are.
Yeah, they're right here. Here they are.
You'll notice on Balthazar's it says 100% EXP contribution. He's the only person that gets the XP.
Oh my god. But yeah, so next time I think we're finally, I've been saying this at the end of every single one of these episodes, but I think next time we are actually going to Baldur's Gate. I don't think there's anywhere to go other than Baldur's Gate at this point.
You don't want to have an episode where we just explore whatever it is in the very far southeast of the map. Just like fill in, like just wander through wilderness.
We can do that at the top of next episode, maybe.
Yeah.
If you really want to southeast chat.
I don't think anyone on the internet wants us to do that.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. We aren't going to betray our fan community of hundreds, if not tens of people.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm really, I know I said at the beginning of the episode, but I'm really surprised and shocked at how many people are listening to this episode every week or every 2 weeks. It's a fairly chunky number of people who are at least listening to a piece of it, and we just want to say thank you.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like we're pretty darn responsive to folks that leave comments. We and I was pretty skeptical about that. I was pretty skeptical about this comment thing about having a internet communication presence, but it's been fun. So leave a comment. It's fun to chat about this game, this weird game with you folks.
I think for last episode or for this episode, we were at 100% yay for you smiting a Tazok. And
that is 100% wrong. Yeah. No, I'm glad I didn't say yay. I was considering saying yay because I was very confident in my Tazok smiting abilities. But turns out my recollection of the way this game works was way worse than Balthazar is at killing people. So
that's the one negative thing I've heard about this is that we often get facts wrong. Facts about this game, or we often get them wrong.
Yeah. So I think. Look, we're going to do our best. And if you notice that we're saying something wrong, please leave a comment, and we will address it and improve upon that in the future. But, we are mortal human beings. We are mortal human beings, and we are not 110% accurate because that is a percentage you can't get to.
We're not Balthazar.
No.
But
the Balthazar of facts, as it were. We aren't at that level.
Yeah, but yeah, so thanks for listening to this, and if you really like it, please share it on the social media of your choice. That helps us out a whole lot. Every time that I say this, we get a little tick up in the amount of shares and stuff, so that's really, really helpful for us. So yeah, hopefully next episode we'll get to Baldur's Gate. That'll be really good.
Yeah, actually getting to the namesake of the game.
And I don't think this was in our last episode because of our weird recording issues that we had, but at some point in the future, we're going to do a little lore episode where we're going to read the books that were important. They're like the preamble plot to this game, and then we're going to talk about them.
I can't wait for that.
It's going to be fun.
Kunzelman has assured me that he will create a time machine and create the time necessary in my schedule for me to be able to read those books.
I'm going to do it.
I'm really excited for that because after that's finished, I've got some ideas for that time machine.
All right, so I'm Cameron.
And I'm Danny.
And this was Mages and Murderdads, episode 5.